Welcome back to Life After Last Call. My name is Eric, and
this is Rich, Eric's husband and partner in crime for this podcast.
You might have noticed that we're in a bit of a different location than we're normally in. I normally got the TV behind me and the blue lighting, but we have upgraded our equipment here a little bit, and we moved into the Sobervation studio / packaging room on the other side that you can't see.
We are excited to be able to share this with you guys. It's episode 10, our 10th episode, is becoming our new and improved episode. Like I say, this is our recording studio for Sobervation. We're very excited about it.
Yeah, I think it's starting to come along.
It feels like a real podcast now.
Doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it was before, but it really feels like it now.
Did you know that most podcasts don't make it past episode 7?
I didn't know the stat, but I completely believe the stat. It makes sense.
Yeah, it was, because when I told you that I wanted to start a podcast, I definitely looked up podcasts, and the consensus that I came up with was that 7 episodes is about where people start to realize that, oh, this is a bit more work.
It's not just sitting in front of a microphone and talking.
No.
Not even that, just sitting in front of your phone and talking.
Yeah, I mean, because it is 2:00 in the afternoon right now when we're recording this podcast. And
you started at 7 a.m.?
I know, I've been up since 6 a.m. Yeah. 6 a.m. Because I knew that I wanted to get this new equipment set up, and not only get it set up, but learn how to use it. And so here we are. We invested in the podcast. Hopefully we can keep making it better and better,
right,
so that you guys will continue to listen to us.
And before you jump ahead, I want to just kind of circle back to that 7-day thing. It also reminds me of the fact that, I don't know if we probably haven't looked these stats up yet, but how e-commerce stores, the failure rate on those.
Oh my goodness.
I guarantee 2 years is improbable that a store's gone 2 years. Because most of them, it seems like, they start and people realize, oh, this is not just me, putting a bunch of products in there it's going to sell. You have to advertise, you have to do this, you have to do that. I didn't know any of this either. I'm watching you do it, and it's like, oh my gosh. So it's a testament to perseverance. And I can say, just like sobriety is perseverance. It's all perseverance.
Oh my goodness. The print on demand drop shipping store e-commerce model, that is definitely a lot more work than I anticipated it would be. I thought it would be, something very simple, and you'd build it once and then be done with it and make a bunch of money off of it. But that isn't exactly how things in life work. If you want to succeed at things, you've got to continue to put work into it and figure out what's working, what's not working, and continue to make improvements, just like sobriety.
Yeah,
so
it's funny, I notice, because that I do watch a lot of podcasts, probably more than you ever did, and I notice when you watch them with me now, you're using a whole different eye as you watch them, and so am I, though. Like, I would never pay attention to anything on a podcast. I would just listen to the content. But now I'm looking at the visuals and looking at and trying to hear stuff. And I know you're doing that too.
I'm literally doing that right now. Like, I'm looking,
Yeah.
I can see the camera that's recording you, and I'm looking right at it right now.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking to myself,
hey, my eyes are up here.
I'm thinking to myself, I need another light in that corner because he's got a shadow behind him. And next episode,
we'll have that
there will be.
But yeah, let's kind of jump into our podcast now.
So we have been focusing on a specific one topic every week, but this week, I figured new room, new equipment,
new vibe.
Let's answer some questions. And I know that there's some questions that we've gotten from listeners and customers of Sobervation. There are some questions that I know I wanted to ask Rich, and Rich wanted to ask me. I'm going to start off by asking Rich a question that I think I know how he's going to answer, but I want to hear him answer.
I promise you I'll answer with honesty.
Yeah.
Brutal honesty.
Do you remember what I was like when I was drinking? And the second part of that question, what do you wish you could tell that version of me?
Oh boy, this is a fun one, because I've actually thought a lot about this, not this particular question, but this scenario. The main thing that I will say out the gate is you were never a mean, violent, morose drunk. You were as fun a drunk as could be. There was just no off switch. So
there literally wasn't. Like, if you didn't want to do shots, you were doing shots with me because I just wanted to drink and consume as much alcohol as
so
was
what would
possible.
So that's what you were like. Like I say, you were fun. Until you would get to the point where I would literally worry you would wobble. You'd be weeble wobble Eric, where you would be walking and you do the sway. Everybody knows the unfortunately the way drunk sway, where you're afraid this person is going to fall back, hit their head. Oh my gosh! So I was afraid of that. But the main thing that I would tell that version of you, and I know, I would say stop, and I know I see the reaction on your face, perfect reaction, because I know it's moronic to say that to a drinking person. I also know that I couldn't stop with you because I wanted to keep drinking with you. But when in my, lucidity, I would say, I wish he would, to myself, I wish that man would stop drinking. Because remember, I was blaming you in my mind. I'm only drinking because you are. If he stops drinking, I'm going to stop drinking.
It's amazing how we do that, isn't it? Because part of me, I was the one who was really overindulging, but I would tell myself, I'm only drinking because he's drinking.
Wow, that's awesome.
I mean...
Oh, wow.
So, it's just different perspectives. But
it is.
I am definitely glad that I am not that person anymore because my life has changed quite a bit since those days.
Yeah. So just kind of twisting it back, what was I like? Because I wasn't that different, was I, honestly? What was I like when I was drinking, Eric?
You were just louder. You were much louder.
Oh, that's true. And I wouldn't be a center of attention.
Oh my God, yes, always. You were so loud. I would sit there like, Rich, oh my God.
Now
she's tipsy.
I'm going to share a story with you really fast. I don't know if I've told you maybe once or twice, but if you're listening, Eric Moore and Brian Cavaney, this is before I knew Eric, when I used to drink with them. They both told me, once they knew I was gay, that I was so gay when I was drinking. 'Cause back then I was playing straight. I was acting straight. But they both told me I would just flame out when I was drinking. And that's how they knew, oh, this man's gay, but they never told me. I don't know if I ever told you that story, but Brian and Eric both told me, we knew you were gay, but because you just flame out. They were much nicer than flame out, of course.
Oh, of course. They did.
Next question is kind of one for me, for you. So, Eric, what is a cringe drinking memory that you and I can laugh about now, but at the time was cringy and scary and whatever? Oh, boy.
Cringe. I'm going to tell you, the word is cringe. One time...
It's really doing the hard work here, the heavy lifting here, cringe is, right?
Yes. One night, we had gone out to see a drag show with a friend of ours who had recently broke up with their boyfriend, and we were doing hey, let's all, console so-and for their breakup. And, we were all drinking quite a bit. That night, we actually weren't the super drunk ones. We smelled like alcohol because
we really weren't.
There was a fight between...
Well, that ex showed up.
Yeah, between our friend and the ex, and it ended with drinks being thrown and Rich and I both getting covered in alcohol. That wasn't the cringe part of it, but
it gets worse.
The cringe part is coming. Anyways, so we made sure our friend got home safely that night, and then Rich and I left the bar, and we lived probably 15 minutes away from the bar we were at, and I don't know what happened, but Rich said something that I didn't agree with, and I was a little more drunk than I had thought I was, and I overreacted to it, and we started fighting, and we were screaming at each other, driving home.
Probably like, what, 2 a.m?
Yeah, like close to bar time. And all of a sudden, we see police lights flashing behind us. And Rich was like, "Ah, you ruined my life. I'm going to jail." Yep. And started like,
berating you. I berated you.
Oh my God. I barely remember that because I was pretty cocktailed that night. But I immediately, they made you get out of the car, and
can I interject? Because the cop, when he came to the window, asked if this was a domestic problem because you were yelling and crying next to me. So the cop literally asked if this is a domestic problem, and I'm like, no, we were just arguing. But he asked me, like, "Am I hitting you?" is what he was asking. I'm thinking, or are you hitting me? Anyway,
I don't recall that.
Yeah. Then. Remember, it wasn't just one. Then another police car comes and pulls in front of my car. So now I've got 2 police cars, and they pull me out of or not pull me. I'm sorry. They asked me to get out of the car, which I do, and they start doing the field sobriety test. And he did the light in my eyes, and I'm sorry I took over the question, but this part you don't remember anyway.
I don't remember.
And they were glossy over, and I know they were. And I remember the cop said to me, "Why do you keep staring at me like that? Why do you keep staring at me?" I said, "I'm trying to focus, officer." And they made me do the nose stuff. They made me stand on one leg, which, folks, I couldn't do. So you're probably wondering, obviously, Rich went to jail that night for the DUI, right?
I thought the same thing. I was like, "Oh shit, there's a cop car," and I believe at one point a third cop car showed up.
Yeah, they did.
And we were literally like 2 blocks from our house.
1 block. It was one street. It was 1 block. Thank God. That's what saved us. I think.
We were 1 block away from our house, and I'm just sitting in the passenger seat of this car, and I turned on the waterworks. I was bawling like.
You begged the cop. Do you remember that? Please don't take him to jail. You begged the cop.
Oh, I did?
Yeah, you really did. He's like, "Please don't take him to jail. Please don't take him to jail." I swear. I remember that. "Don't take him to jail," or something like that. It was your guilt kicking in because you blamed yourself.
I did blame myself.
Even it was my fault. I drove.
But I sat there and I bawled in that seat. I pleading with the cop not to take him. And for some miracle...
White privilege.
What I mean, I won't argue with that.
I'll say it. Yeah.
The cop followed us home, and
he did.
He followed us home. We got in the house, and
he followed us into because we lived in a condo at this time. He followed us into the parking lot, got right behind my car. We got out, walked in. He stayed there till we walked out. I know he did. Then he drove away, and he probably thought, "I didn't want to deal with those 2 those queens." In his mind, he probably thought that. I don't blame him. I had taken that queen down to jail. Oh boy.
Oh yeah. Wow. Well, you asked cringe, and that was definitely
our cringiest. I'm 99% sure. Damn.
I think that was definitely one of the cringiest things that ever happened while we were drinking.
And I want to say that we're saying this with a little levity. I know we're laughing like we're proud of it. No, we're laughing because we're embarrassed. That's what a lot of people do when they're embarrassed. They laugh, and I'm humiliated that it ever happened. That I put him in that situation. That I put myself in that situation. And I will say, we obviously still went to bars after that, but I do promise you, I know for a fact I never got that drunk and drove again. Yes, I always drove tipsy, definitely wrong, but that changed something in me a little bit where I realized this is terrible.
Yeah, you always were the responsible one that would have 1 or 2 beers when we would go out.
I would, yeah.
And you would have to beg with me and plead with me to get me out of bars because people wanted to buy me shots, and I apparently... Anyways, I'm so glad that person doesn't exist anymore.
Like, and that's a good way to say it, Eric. He doesn't even exist.
He literally doesn't even exist. What's something sober me does now that would have absolutely shocked past me?
I'm going to kind of twist it and say that would shock me even. But for sure, shock past you would be working out. That would shock drunk Eric. He never would have thought he was going to be a person that literally lifted weights and that literally works out 30 minutes a day. That would have shocked past... I mean... The cardio, but you're right. That would have shocked past Eric. And I was thinking, following through. No, that wouldn't shock past Eric because you did follow through on stuff all the time. Old Eric did. just not as well, because you didn't do it as well because you were, hungover. And weekends we could never be productive because we were drinking. We would do stuff with alcohol, do stuff around the house with alcohol.
Oh my God.
But I really think past Eric would be shocked at to see the change in present Eric and the way he works out and commits to working out and commits to making something like Sobervation work, because that's a full-time job in itself. It's literally a full-time job. Plus you have a full-time job. So that would shock the hell out of past Eric.
I'm literally just like trying to level up everything here. Like I'm literally learning every single skill that I can learn. I don't even know where it's coming from half the time. I just know it's something in me
it's in you, right?
It is just in me, and this is Eric Sans the alcohol, which I fucking love my life now. I don't miss alcohol. Like, the thought of getting drunk and being out of control just doesn't even sound appealing to me anymore.
About kind of flipping that again, probably with me won't be as magnanimous an answer, but what's something sober me does now that would have shocked past me? I know the answer that I think, but
something sober you does now. Well, I would say with the working out as well.
Yep, for sure.
Because you didn't start that initially with me.
No, I didn't. That's right.
I started to do that, and I think that it was when you started seeing results. Like, I had gone from maybe a double XL shirt to down to an extra large shirt or something that I hadn't fit into for quite some time, because I was in 2XLs for years.
Yeah, we were.
I think it was when I got into a shirt that I hadn't fit into, and you were jealous, and you're like,
really
well,
jealous.
shit.
Yeah.
Well, shit, if he's going to go getting all hot and sexy now,
I don't want to not be.
I don't. Exactly. So, I mean, that's just kind of part of how you and I are a team. And,
that's something, and the podcast knows we did both kind of stop just recently working out as well, working out as much because of this. But we both did that. We both stopped working out, and we both went back to working out. Because you're right, we do. It has to be together. It has to be us doing it together. Yeah. And one thing I would say that would have shocked me, if I can answer this for myself, is that I can watch a football game now, because everybody knows I love football, and not have to be drunk, or not have to drink alcohol while I do it. I seriously never thought I could do that.
He's still the loudest person in the room.
With that, yes, I am. Unless you know who's here.
Oh,
we won't say her name, but we love her. Hopefully, she's watching. But that's something I never would have thought I could have enjoyed a sporting event, football game, or just a party, going to someone. Because that was me more than you. But now this we can talk about. If you remember, when we would go to social gatherings, I was the drinker there. Like when we go to the old friend group's house, you didn't get crazy there, if you remember. Think about that.
I always tried to moderate.
No, you did.
I've always taken a little small bottle
I would
of vodka.
get mad at you almost.
Yeah.
Because that's when I would go nuts and drink like crazy.
Yeah.
Because I think that's part of my insecurities. I need to be, again, the center of attention.
So I guess that the question was, what's something sober me does that would have absolutely shocked past me?
Yes.
And I think that would be my answer for you, is the being able to go to a restaurant and eat without having alcohol. Like, we could not go to a Waffle House or a Bob Evans, or
I would tell him no,
because they didn't serve alcohol. So I think for me, that's the biggest thing that I think I could tell Drunk Rich, that once you quit drinking alcohol, we can go to Potbelly and have lunch, or we can go to Bob Evans and have lunch. And
I remember getting so excited when I found out Chipotle had beer. And then we were allowed to go to Chipotle then. Eric was never, ever a dinner drinker or a meal drinker. That was me.
Because I wasn't drinking because I enjoyed it. I was drinking to get drunk and escape my life. And I love my life now. I don't have anything that I need to escape from. And that is sobriety. Like, that's sobriety, baby.
Okay. So then the last question we kind of had up here is, What do you not miss about drinking with me? We've kind of talked about all of these, but what do we
hangovers, spending all the money,
yep.
Waking up and saying, Jesus, we spent $100 at the bar. Oh, wait, we went to another bar and spent another $50.
Yeah.
Like, that shit was ridiculous.
And then, mind you, then we'd have to buy, of course, vodka at the store, and then we'd have to buy all my beers at the store, and yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
That's why we can afford this.
Yeah,
seriously,
absolutely. It really is. Yeah. So I think that we've answered that question every direction. Let's move on to a question that a viewer asked us. When did you know you were serious about getting sober?
When did I know? Honestly, and it sounds like a cop-out, when you were serious.
Yeah.
And I hate to say that because you were my crutch. It's just like I was probably a little bit yours, but you were definitely my crutch. So when you decided that you were very serious about sobriety, because I will say I initially didn't believe you with good reason. I thought, oh, he's quit before. He'll go back to drinking, and so will I.
Quit for a weekend.
And I never this I've never told you. So look at me directly. I'm telling you, I was literally afraid that sober Eric would not like Rich.
What?
Isn't that weird? I was afraid.
That's
I was
crazy.
nervous. I was nervous. I was like, well, what if he doesn't really like me? Because we're always drunk all the time. It felt like I was seriously nervous about that.
Well, I love
Turns
sober
out it didn't
Rich.
matter, right? Turns out you love me. I love you. So,
I mean,
but I'm just being honest. I'm being 100, as they say.
Aw.
So there we go.
Well, that is sad to hear.
It's not your fault. That was all my shortcomings. So
yeah, I knew I was so serious about getting sober. I had just turned like 41 or 42. I don't know. I am 45 now. I've been sober for I had just turned 41. So right, I'm fucking old, and it just sneaks up on you quickly. I had just turned 41, and the pandemic was coming to an end. We were all going back to work, and a neighbor friend of ours and I went out to a bar. I got really fucked up. I didn't remember the night, made a fool of myself, and I woke up the day after that with text messages where I had to put shit together, and I had no clue what fucking happened. And of course, I was just, this is too much. It's too much. I can't fucking do this. I'm 41 years old, and this isn't cute on anyone, really. Even you youngins out there that think it isn't cute when you're that out of control and that able to be accountable for any of your actions because you're running on brainstem functionality. Wobble, 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 wobble.
And I think you're being I don't want to say reacquainted, but having Zoe back in your life, you were embarrassed. You were embarrassed.
Oh my God. Yeah. I mean, that was probably where some of the embarrassment came from. Was she hadn't been around for a lot of my drinking days.
Yeah.
And that's a lot of why I was drinking.
It was.
Yeah. Because when I would get sad or I would get morose, that would always be the subject.
Yeah. The times you did get morose would be that something would come up to remind you the name Zoe would be in a show or something. Or yeah, exactly.
Yeah. But I'd say that was when I knew I was serious about getting sober. And the universe has a way of putting people into your life that you need to learn from. And she has put some wonderful people in my life that I continue to learn from every day to be a better person. And I'm so grateful for that.
I like this question. What do you think people get? This is from a viewer also.
Okay.
What do you think people get wrong about sobriety?
That it's boring, that you can't have any fun, that your social life will be over.
I thought all that.
Like literally all of the above. But I mean...
and that it's easy, and that once you've done it, you've conquered it.
Yeah, and that you didn't...
Well, not easy, but conquered.
It's not a disease.
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus. Like, why can't you just stop? You could just stop. Who
said that to you?
Oh my God, you always used to say that.
Eric, why can't you just have two? I would literally say that to you. Eric, why can't you just have two like me?
Yeah.
Why can't you?
I literally.
And I still think to this day, we can tell everybody it's a disease. Society can tell you it's a disease. AMA can tell you it's a disease. And people still don't believe it. Let's just be honest.
No,
they don't.
No, they don't.
I do now.
Yeah. I mean... So I think that's probably the thing people get the most wrong.
Me too.
About sobriety. That was a lot.
It really was. We kind of got into a lot of crazy stuff, some deep stuff.
Yeah.
Some fun stuff.
And we're going to try and keep a podcast episode coming every week with, us both having full-time jobs. Rich having multiple jobs. It is hard for us to...
I am a true gig economy guy.
Yeah, he really is. It is difficult. We didn't have an episode last week, but we came back with all this. So I don't know that there'll be another upgrade coming like this, but keep an eye out for that light behind Rich.
Yeah, that'll be here. And hopefully, if you're still listening to us right now, you're basically our sponsor, because thank you for doing that. Thank you for being part of this journey with us. Because, like I say, it is a journey. So
yeah, seriously, though, thank you for watching. We hope it reminds someone out there that you don't have to have it all figured out. You just have to keep showing up every day, because you're never going to have it all figured out. You just, try to be better the next day than you were the day before. Thanks for hanging out with us, guys. We are so grateful that you are here. Stay sober, stay weird, like Rich.
And we'll as they come, so I'll own that one.
And we'll see you guys next week. Thank you.
On Life After Last Call.
On Life After Last Call.
Oh, you might notice our little animations coming up. Eric has figured out how to make some animations. Please check those out. They're a lot of fun.
This is freedom. This is choice.